Hello everybody and welcome back to our brand new episode of our NASCAR 25 career mode here on the channel. I hope you're all having a great day. Today we take on Talladega and Martinsville with just 3 races remaining in the chase. 2 races today, and then we'll have the finale with an episode all to itself. William Byron has a 36-point lead coming into Talladega over Christopher Bell, a 57-point lead over Kyle Larson, and a 72-point lead over Ryan Blaney. Now, all those names I just listed are going to have a very strong day and hope that William Byron runs into some sort of issues, has a bad finish, doesn't score stage points. If that happens, there's a good chance that we could have a fight on our hands going into Martinsville and in the season finale in Phoenix Raceway. Of course, if we're going to have a championship battle go right down to the end, Christopher Bell is probably the guy that we're looking at to make things interesting. As you can see, we've got brand new colors on the car this weekend, red and white flames, and Lionel Racing on board with this Junior Motorsports number 15 Chevrolet. Now, we had some big news this weekend. Target, our primary sponsor, Target, is leaving our team at the conclusion of the season. Going into season 3, we will officially have a new sponsor on board. Now, as we get ready to kick things off here from Talladega, as 3 races remain on the season as we kick off the Yellowwood 500. Now, from smack dab in the middle of the field, I have turned fuel and tire wear down to just 1x again for a super speedway to avoid the stupidity of green flag pit stops here, where the AI will then just stay out and run out of fuel for no reason at all. So we are going to make sure we avoid that here today now as we kick things off for a 15-lap opening stage from this Talladega race, and really excited to see what we can do. I think we are going to be a genuine threat to get our 4th win of our career and of the season as well. Of course, we are out of the championship picture. Unfortunately, it's just the way things have gone. And, we had, last episode, we had a lot of just rough luck on our side. And when you have, a couple of races, like I said at the beginning of the chase, you can afford one bad race in the chase. That is it. And once you have more than that, considering, I should say, the position that we're in, if you have more than one bad race, then it's over. Now, if you come in, leading the chase, then I would say, you can afford maybe 2 bad races or even 3, but obviously for us, it's just not the situation we wanted to be in, unfortunately. And next season, I am hopeful that we can have a very strong season and win a bunch of races and just kind of dominate the Cup Series, to be honest with you now. But there will be a 3rd season of this career mode. I'm not sure from that point and beyond what the plan is currently, but I am in the process of kind of planning maybe a new NASCAR Heat 5 series that's set in the current era of NASCAR, like 2020 and beyond. But that's probably might be on hold, because by the time we finish season 3 of NASCAR 25, we're probably gonna be pretty close and well underway kind of into the NASCAR 26 kind of push at that point. I feel like we'll already have news and we'll be able to kind of start gearing up for that, because at the current rate, I'm posting probably 3 of these a week. So yeah, it's going to be a few months before we're done season 3. We have already started June. We're going to be probably end of August, early September when we finish season 3 of this career mode. By then we'll be, quite close enough, I would imagine, to NASCAR 26 if it's coming out in late September, October, whenever it might be. And as well, we'll have an IndyCar game hopefully to play, but of course we have had no news on either IndyCar 26 or NASCAR 26, which is quite wild to think about as we continue to, now enter the summer months of the year. As for us, though, we're not entering the summer months, but we're entering the 3rd top lane and even the 4th lane at some points as well, and just taking this number 15 Lionel Chevrolet back towards the front. We were stuck on the bottom there for a few laps and kind of killing time. Not really because I wanted to. We just kind of got trapped down there, and there wasn't a whole lot I could do at that point now. But now we've got ourselves moving our way forward here, jumping into the middle lane here between Alex Bowman and Ross Chastain, and absolute scraps up here up front, 2x2, or 3x3 I should say now, including Kyle Larson, who's trying to get some stage points as the 24 of William Byron, currently not in a top 10 position. Now, I say Byron's not in a top 10 position, but Christopher Bell as well, his closest threat on points, is also not in the top 10. So things are looking pretty good for the 24. Now, Kyle Larson, he still has a chance to make things interesting in the chase. Now, it would take... Byron still is going to need to have a poor race, but Larson, I mean, could outscore Byron here today in Talladega. He could go to Martinsville and outscore him, and even then it would still be a pretty tall order without Byron actually having a crash or something. Now, as we are 4 wide in the middle, we would eventually get clear of the 34 and jump 4 wide to the top lane, and this is kind of the lane I like to be in, right up on the wall, because in the corners you might not get the run, but down the straightaways, when everyone kind of comes together bumper to bumper on the top lane, the momentum just starts rolling, and you are just steamrolling down the straightaways, and we've got a push from that 34 of Gilliland into turn 3, and that's going to take us all the way up to nearly the top 5 as Kyle Larson's going to jump to that second lane with help from his good buddy of Ricky Stenhouse Jr., as Buescher is going to rely on the 23 of Bubba Wallace to push him, and I would rely on that 34 to push me all the way to the lead in Talladega. Now, can't hear the crowd roaring from here. Now, of course, we're well beyond the grandstand, but we have got the lead briefly. Buescher trying to fight back on the inside, but we know we're going to get that push again down this back stretch from the 34 of Todd Gilliland. Thank you very much. Clear to the lead here from Talladega now with just 5 laps to go in stage 1. Can we hold on for the stage win, pick up 10 additional points as we continue to race, you know, and try to run down to Ryan Blaney in the point standings before this season comes to an end. Now, Blaney's kind of faded over these last few races as they really haven't gone in his favor as well. So, of course, he's no longer part of the championship conversation. Now, as you can see me kind of moving around a little bit now, trying to cover the lanes, but obviously you can only cover so much. And now here comes the run from the 17 of Chris Buescher with help from the number 8 Cheddar Chevrolet of Kyle Busch. Of course, rest in peace, Kyle Busch again, as I would love to see him get to victory lane here today in Talladega. Now, as we roll through now turn 3 and side by side with that Fastenal Ford Mustang coming up on just the final moments of stage 1, and now Buescher to the middle, Busch to the far outside. We're going to be wheel to wheel with that Cheddar's 8 down this back straightaway now, and I'm going to continue to kind of just cover this inside line. Of course, that middle lane doesn't have a whole lot of momentum. Now they're trying to build up some momentum, but I think the inside is going to be the way to go here in 3 and 4. That's exactly where I'm going to keep myself. And then as we come straight to the final lap now, still leading the way on the bottom lane through 3 and 4. They're 4 wide behind us as we exit turn 4, and we just need to cover the 4 lanes now, but once they go 4 wide, they kind of stall each other's momentum out, and now it's pretty easy for me. I just got to cover this inside line through the tri-oval. I mean, I only have one hand on the wheel at this point, and we come through to win stage 1, so very, very solid way to kick things off here. Quite happy about that. And now, of course, we'll get ready for the second stage of racing, and everyone is going to stay out for this. So let's get ready now to go racing for stage number 2. No pit stops again necessary as we kick things back off. The second stage underway should be similar length to stage 1. Once we cross the line, wait and see. It's going to be, again, 15 laps of racing in stage number 2. Kyle Larson, important to mention, you notice him in P3. Kyle Larson did score points in that stage. William Byron did not score any. Christopher Bell also did not score any points. So is Kyle Larson maybe the guy that we're looking to now to be the one that could spice things up going in towards the championship finale next episode from Phoenix Raceway? And I mean, you list these guys off, Larson and Bell, they've had a few races that haven't quite gone their way. The only guy in the chase that hasn't really had anything go wrong is that 24 of William Byron. It just feels like time and time again, he just, even when he's not having a great race, I mean, all of a sudden, the game just finds a way to get him up front at the end of these things, and I would not be shocked. Byron, not even in the conversation right now, but I've done enough super speedway races to know that somehow, one way or another, he always ends up showing up at the front of the pack in the tail end of these races. I don't know how in the world it always works out like that, but it does. So, oh, they're wrecking in the back. Around goes the 17 of Chris Buescher, and he's going to collect Chastain as they'll slide into the outside wall. Caution comes out for cause for the first time here in the second stage of racing. So, again, we'll all stay out. We'll get ready to go back racing here now from the lead of this race as I get a good fresh drink of water. That water, by the way, was absolutely delicious as we'll get ready now for our first restart from a caused caution. Now as we're back underway, we got the 43 Advent Health 43 Toyota Camry, I guess I should say, for Legacy Motor Club, as we head down into turn number 1, lap 5 of 15. Just over 10 laps to go here at this point. And one thing I really hope for NASCAR 26 is that they make the super speedways a lot more competitive, because now at times you can get shuffled back. I mean, it's already happened to us once this race. It'll probably happen to us again. But the thing is, when you do get shuffled back, it's far too easy to go back forward. And I mean, you would think I would have had a lot more super speedway wins, considering how easy the super speedways are, but it feels like now I'm finally kind of getting the hang of them and exactly how to win them. But yeah, I mean, I really hope they do make them more challenging in NASCAR 26, because I feel like this is definitely by far the easiest track type in the game, and what should, you know, arguably be one of the most difficult track types in the game, because anybody can win when you come to a super speedway, not just the best cars like at every other racetrack. So yeah, I would like to see them kind of work on that. I don't know really how on the road you make it more difficult. I really don't. I don't have an answer on that, but I know it's definitely going to be possible. So definitely hope that they make some changes going forward into NASCAR 26. Of course, there is a absolute massive list of things they need to improve for NASCAR 26, and that's just honestly on the minor side of things, because there's a lot of major fixes that they need to make. That we talked about in previous videos. Now as we'll roll up to the back of the Shell Pennzoil Ford Mustang of Joey Logano. Now Kyle Busch again in the conversation. Look behind us again, a lot of 3 wide racing as we are already to lap 7, as I make a big move to the outside right there, and we'll be just in front of that Cheddar's 8 of Kyle Busch. Now in this middle lane, here comes Chris Buescher. He's going to go 3 wide to the outside as we exit turn 4, but I got a big push coming from the 2-time champion, 2015 and 2019 Cup champion Kyle Busch, going to push us clear out front, and I would immediately drop back down to the inside. Busch actually followed me to the inside, but he would end up getting a few cars in between us over the next few laps. So with 5 to go at this point here in stage 2, continuing to lead this inside line as we go down this back straightaway. We are 3 by 3 by 3 by 3 right now. Fantastic racing up front. We're 4 wide. Here comes Bowman, 4 wide through the middle, pushing the Kubota number 1 of Chastain out front. A big dent in the back bumper, that one. He was involved in that earlier incident with the number 17 of Chris Buescher. And to the lead goes Ross Chastain. You see me looking behind me a lot. I'm trying to keep updated on where the 24 is, where the 20 is, and where the 5 is, so I can kind of have an idea of like what's going on with the point situation now as we continue with just a few laps to go at this point. In on lap 12 of 15, we are now still right up front here with the 48 of Alex Bowman. And as we're approaching just 3 laps to go in this stage, but look at the run they've all gone to my outside there. There goes Bowman, there goes Custer. All of a sudden, we have kind of gotten ourselves backwards, and Chastain had jumped down in front of me, and now we were down to P10 just like that. I mean, we just kind of watched them all go out front, and then we drop back, and around goes the 1. With a few laps to go on the stage, caution is going to fly. That's going to end the stage a few laps early. Who won it? Eric Jones won it. How about that? Wow. All right. No stage points for any championship competitor. Larson, Byron, Bell, none of them managed to score any points. So now we make our 1 and likely only pit stop of the day for 4 tires and fuel. Bell gained 3 spots up to 13th now as we get ready to go back racing again. Stage 3 underway, and now we know that we sure enough can get shuffled back in the right circumstances, or I guess the wrong circumstances for us. But I mean, now the focus is on that 20 and the 5 and the number 24 of William Byron as well. Like I said earlier, the game always seems to find a way to get William Byron up front by the end of these races. So watch out, because I would not be shocked if we saw that 24 who's run, you know, really irrelevant for 30 laps so far in the final 17. He's probably just going to find a way as we continue down this backstretch into turn number 3 now, and a very weird kind of spread of cars here in front of us now, with the 6 to the wall, the 91 kind of in his own lane, and then of course the front 2 in that second lane running bumper to bumper. And we get a big push from behind from that 17 of Buescher. That's going to put me right up to the back of the 91 of Helio Castroneves. just announced in real life today that Project 91 is coming back with Kevin Magnussen for the San Diego street race, which I think is absolutely awesome. I hope Magnussen does well. Look who's here. Look to my outside. That's 24. William Byron, sure enough, finds a way. He is here on lap 33, and we are 4 wide in the middle. Kyle Larson as well to the top. In the back, I see Christopher Bell back there as well. Now, when that top line is rolling, and William Byron is going to find a way to get to the front of this race. Are you kidding me? Every time, man. He's up front now. I mean, I say up front. I mean, he's third right now with help from, I believe that was the 60 or the 6, one of them. And now he leads this race officially. William Byron to the lead in Talladega now with a little over 10 laps to go as I'm jumping all the way up to the outside. Big push from Custer. We're going to give a shot to the back of Castroneves, pushing him down this backstretch. That was the 6 of Keselowski that pushed Byron forward now. But we take a huge boost of momentum into turn 3. It's like Formula 1 2026 where you hit the boost button and you absolutely fly by everybody. And now we are going to go outside of this 91 with Cole Custer behind, and we are going to take over the lead once again as the crowd is loving it here in Talladega. We lead here in front of the crowd. Now down this backstretch, lap 35, here comes Eric Jones to my inside, but I'm going to commit to the outside line. I feel like at the end of the day, the outside line is kind of where you want to be. So we're just going to continue to, stay up here. And however, that will cost us a little bit of ground, so a little bit more than I expected. I thought Custer was going to give me the push, and it just didn't quite happen there. So we learned a little bit now, but now we got another run, and we're going to just shoot straight up to the outside of these guys. I mean, they already made a second lane. I said, you know what? We'll make a third. I got no problem with that. And sure enough, though, back to the lead we go here from Talladega now with just over 10 laps remaining in the Yellowwood 500 now, and I feel like we have set ourselves up very well to at least be fighting for the win of this race here now. But of course, still, I mean, we're just now coming to lap 37. 11 laps remain in this race. Now lap 38, and we are starting to see some 3 wide materialize. So now it's time to start considering moving around. There's William Byron behind us on the inside line. He's going to force it to the inside of the 41. Here comes that Raptor 24 now, beating everyone he needs to be beating. He only really needs to focus on beating 2 cars, and that's the 5 and the 20 of Larson and Christopher Bell. And right now he's doing exactly that. Larson, of course, the only championship competitor that picked up stage points in stage 1, and he's going to try and bank on those. If he can beat the 24 here by the checkered flag, that will be quite helpful now, as Byron's going to push us out in front through this trioval. Thank you, William Byron. Honestly, I kind of hope something goes wrong for the 24, mainly because I want to see this championship go down to the finale as we come to 8 laps to go at this point. Will we stay green? Well, we see a yellow. I jump up to this 3rd lane now. I saw the outside kind of coming, so I wanted to cover them off now and see if we get that big push out of turn 2, just like that right there. Zane Smith now to the lead on the inside, but we're going to have such a big push. That's where the momentum is. If you jump to the top, then momentum is just so big when you get a push from another car that look how far out we got. So we jump back down to the inside. Now lap 41. Here comes the 51 of Cody Ware. So again, I jump back up to the top. This time, though, I actually thought about going back to the bottom, realized I couldn't. So as now Cody Ware is going to give me a push as we cross the stripe here. Lap 42, look behind us. Kyle Larson's back up in the conversation. Byron's dropped back a few extra spots. He's on the far top behind Blaney. So now Larson has a real chance to outscore that number 24. But it's looking like Christopher Bell is going to take himself out of championship contention here now as Byron pushing Blaney on the far top lane. We jump back up to cover that off now. And now, here comes the inside line of Cody Ware. And on the 4th line in the background, here comes the number 5 of Kyle Larson. I can't tell who's helping him. It might be the 6 again of Keselowski, but Larson's trying to make a 3rd and 4th lane work. And now Byron's jumping up. Here comes the 5. Now Larson, who's in behind his teammate, I jump up and cover the 24, and I see that 5 coming, and I see the momentum they have. We're going to jump up in front of Larson. We lose the lead for now, not by much, by half a car length, and the 5's going to give us a huge push down this back straightaway as we get hooked up, and we are going to clear the entire pack on the run into turn number 3, and we're going to jump back down in front of everybody now as we head down this front straightaway, coming to 3 to go. Larson now to my back bumper. Here comes a big run from the 34. I'm going to cover Gilliland instead of Larson. Here comes Byron in the middle lane now. The 2 championship threats. I cover the momentum from the middle. Here comes the 34 to the inside. The 5 around the outside of the top lane. And as we head down this back stretch now, we're going to have help hopefully from this 24, and we would get connected to the back of the 5. Coming to 2 laps to go, and now I've got these guys right where I want them. Here comes William Byron, but now I'm like, okay, I can stay in line with this 5 of Kyle Larson, push him to the white flag, and then make a last lap pass and take the checkered. This is probably our best route to victory with 2 laps to go here from Talladega Superspeedway. What a race it has been. And now we got Ryan Blaney behind us, and we are pushing Kyle Larson as far out as we can as we were approaching the final lap. And behind us, we had actually had 2 groups just drive away from the main pack. Look at the spread between us and the main pack. I don't know how in the world that happened, but nonetheless, 1 lap to go here from Talladega. And it's me and Kyle Larson. I'm trying to back up to the 12 of Blaney to make sure I will have an opportunity to have momentum. Into turn 3 we go. Final lap. Kyle Larson could use the additional 15 points for a race win, but I could also use a race win to my career. As we exit turn 4, Larson leads. Blaney behind us in 3rd. When's the right time to go? I think it's right now. Push from the 12 to the outside of the HendrickCars.com Chevrolet. It's going to be close, but we're going to get it. We will win in Talladega. Oh my goodness, how about that? Career win number 4. And that gets us a lot closer to the likes of Ryan Blaney and Christopher Bell in the championship now as we get out to celebrate a Yellowwood 500 victory. And Kyle Larson finishes 2nd and most importantly finishes ahead of William Byron, while Christopher Bell nowhere to be seen in the top 10. And as we look at the rest of the order, nowhere to be seen in the top 20. And eventually you find him down here in 25th. That was such a loss of points that now Kyle Larson has overtaken the 20 car in the championship standings. And that means that William Byron still leads the championship now by 56 points over Kyle Larson going into Martinsville. And with that win, we are actually only 20 points behind Blaney and not much further off of Bell and even Kyle Larson, honestly, as we come into Martinsville now with just 2 races to go on the season. What a season it's been. What a chase it's been. William Byron with a 56-point lead right here has an opportunity to lock up and clinch the championship 1 race early. He needs to come out of here with, I guess what, the most points you can now score. You can score, of course, 60, you can score 20 in the stages. You get 40 usually for a win, but now there's, of course, an extra 15 for the win. So 55 plus 20, you can score 75 points in a race. So William Byron, to clinch the championship today, would need to have a 75-point lead to exit Martinsville, and that was just a guarantee, a worst-case scenario. He still wins the championship. Now, realistically, if Byron exits here with a 20-plus point lead, I just don't see how it happens unless he crashes in Phoenix and the door is wide open with a 20-point lead at that point now. So we end up here in qualifying in P24 as we now see Ryan Blaney on pole and William Byron putting the pressure on Larson and Bell. He's in P2, Larson's 5th, Bell is P8. So definitely going to be some pressure on those guys now as you see the rest of your qualifying order. And honestly excited to do this race. I was excited to get off the Super Speedway even when we won it. There's not a whole lot of satisfaction winning a Super Speedway race in NASCAR 25 given how, kind of easy they are to get up front and control those races. So now, let's go. Short track racing. Now 2 races remain on the season. Final episode will be, of course, a standalone Phoenix race to determine our NASCAR Cup Series champion. And here we go now, ready to go. Green flag racing, 125 laps here around the paperclip. Now Shane Van Gisbergen to my left side. We are racing from the Xfinity 500. Ryan Blaney, William Byron lead the field down into turn number 1 over Denny Hamlin as well as Chase Elliott, Kyle Larson. Denny Hamlin, just 2 races remaining in his NASCAR career before Tyler Reddick takes over that number 11 as Hamlin hangs up the helmet full time next season now. And as well, I think we'll do a lot of off-season stuff actually at the end of next episode. If you guys have missed any of the off-season stuff, of course, we cannot actually mod NASCAR 25. The way I have done this silly season is simply role play. That's how we're doing it, and post-recording, editing, you know, with the leaderboards and whatnot, as we are getting aggressive right off the bat, moving the 88 out of the way now, and actually got him into the 99 of Connor Zilish. But of course, yeah, I mean, you see right there, I mean, you see no name tags of other drivers, so we can kind of build that immersion. And of course, we can't mod paint schemes or anything. That's one of the big frustrations, is just the fact that we can't really mod NASCAR 25, and of course, a very bare bones game. When you can't mod it, it makes for a bit of a lackluster creativity kind of game for us. But we're doing what we can. And in Season 3, we've got a lot to look forward to with some of these kind of, you know, silly season moves that we have made as we continue on here. On to lap 6 of now 32 of Stage 1. And Ryan Blaney, he's still got himself out in front of this race as we're slowly but surely moving forward on this inside line. And I mean, you know, final short track of the season, 2 races remain on the season. I am not going to, you know, mess around with anybody in terms of, like, if I got to go, I'm probably going to move you if I have the opportunity to do it. So we're not playing around now. We're trying to just get the best finish we can. And there's still a chance we could beat Ryan Blaney on points. I say that. Ryan Blaney's kind of in control of this race right now as we have run down the treaders number 8 of Kyle Busch down this front straightaway. And already coming up on the halfway point here. And we got a crash. Around goes to 17. That's 2 races in a row for him. Caution is out. Chris Buescher loops it around in turn 1. Everybody stays out for this one. We get ready to go back racing now from Martinsville, and we're going to find ourselves on the inside line, which I was quite happy with. Now, I was actually back on manual transmission for this race because you're only going to be slower than the AI for a couple of seconds as we get back up to speed now, and just hitting a little over 100 miles per hour on the run down into each corner here from Martinsville. Blaney still in control. Larson was up there in second, 1 row in front of the 24 of William Byron, but both of those drivers on the outside for this restart could find themselves in a bit of trouble now, and as everyone's kind of stacking up on this outside line. That's perfect for me because now we get alongside the 21 Wood Brothers Ford Mustang here of Josh Berry, and we would quickly move our way forward, passing Christopher Bell, and now to the inside of the 48 of Alex Bowman, who of course is headed to Spire Motorsports next season to replace Michael McDowell, and of course we know Corey Day will be behind the wheel of that number 48 as we exit turn 4 down this front stretch here. A little over 10 laps to go in stage number 1, and we continue to cook on this inside line, passing now to the inside of the Moose number 1 of Ross Chastain. This will put us into P11, so an absolutely fantastic run here. As you can see up ahead, Kyle Larson is on the inside of Chase Elliott, passing him for, what, P4? And William Byron is a few spots behind the HendrickCars.com Chevrolet. So Larson has got 2 cars in between them. So a few extra points right now going towards the direction of the 5, but he's still got to finish the stage out. Things could change now as we have 5 laps to go. Look into the inside of the Kroger number 60, but now 3 cars in between Larson and Byron as Bubba Wallace has gotten through on the 24 as we have gotten just a couple laps remaining now, and right to the back of the 17 here coming straight to the final lap. William Byron had actually gotten in front of the 54 of Ty Gibbs. So once again, just 2 cars between Larson and Byron now, as Ryan Blaney has done what he's needed to do. He dominates from start to finish in stage 1. Ryan Blaney wins the first and opening stage. That's 10 points to his name as we exit turn 4 for P10 here. Considering we were 20th like 15 laps ago, I was quite happy to the fact that we managed to climb up to P10 with help, of course, from that restart.
Pit road is open.
So we're going to come in, we'll take tires, we'll take fuel, and we'll get ready to go back green here now. And we did make a slight wedge adjustment here from 50.0 to 50.5, and we gained 1 spot now, moving to P9. That was for Chris Buescher, who clearly was taking some repairs. So Kyle Larson gains a few points on William Byron there in stage 1. Can he do the same in stage 2? Here we go, 32 laps of racing in stage 2. Chastain was able to get clear and jump down in front of me. I feel like on fresh tires, when everybody's got fresh tires, including myself, I definitely feel like we're just kind of hanging on. This is one of those tracks where we definitely have better long run pace than a lot of drivers, so we just kind of have to survive the first 10 to 15 laps, and then once we get those laps down, we can spend the rest of the stage kind of, you know, going forwards. And that's been a trend we've seen at a lot of races this season now, as we're taking advantage, however, of some drivers just for whatever reason, you know, naturally running a little bit higher on the racetrack, and the first one we're able to take advantage of is that 23 of Bubba Wallace. But now William Byron in front of Kyle Larson. As you can see, Larson has dropped back to what, P7 right now, behind the 54 of Ty Gibbs. So right now Byron doing what he needs to be doing here in stage 2, trying to kind of keep Larson flat in terms of gaining points on him. But Larson's gotten his way back forward now and has only got one car in between himself and that 24, and that's the number 11 of Denny Hamlin in his final trip here to Martinsville Speedway. Come lap 7 of 32 in the stage, and we are already seeming to be kind of working our way back forward. Wallace, however, not making this easy. He continues to fight on my outside, and we've got Priest just behind us, but out of turn 4, lap 8, we'll clear the 23 into P9, and now we go try to run down Ross Chastain, which unfortunately for me was not really the case. I had kind of just flatlined here, and I had actually lost time to the 1, and we cut straight through to lap 17 of 32 at this point. And at this point now, William Byron has got a few cars between him and the 5 of Larson. So basically everything that Larson gained in stage 1 is going to basically get cut. It's basically going to break out even at the current pace things look to be going in these closing moments of the stage. So if you're Kyle Larson, you're hoping for a caution to kind of spice things up. But to make matters worse for Larson, as everybody was now working their way through lap traffic within these final 10 laps of the stage, for whatever reason, the 5 decides to run up on the outside behind a lapped car of Ty Dillon. And that's opening the door for both Ty Gibbs and Ross Chastain to say thank you very much and look to the inside. And there goes Gibbs to the inside of the 5, passes him. Chastain as well. Looks like he's about to go up there and pass the number 5 of Kyle Larson, who just for whatever reason wanted to run behind the lap car on the outside line. Now it looks like Larson's trying to go to the inside. There he goes now. But I mean, too little, too late. You've given up more points here now, coming to lap 27 of 32, and Larson would eventually get passed by the 1. But around goes the 1 of Chastain. Caution's going to fly.
Yellow's out.
And that is going to give us a late restart here in stage 2. Oh boy, everyone's pitting as well for tires and fuel. I actually put my wedge back down to 50 flat, and this is going to get interesting. William Byron, outside line P4. Kyle Larson, inside preferred lane in P7. Ryan Blaney leads us back to green. It's going to be probably 2 or 3 laps left. It is 3 to go in stage 2, and now Larson has a chance to kind of get a little bit of redemption right here and get back in front of that 24, or at least just kind of, you know, reduce the positions in between the two now, and Larson could still come out of the first 2 stages scoring more points. Any point will be very helpful for that number 5 who's right on the back of the 24, and we've got Logano in front of us, 2 laps to go, running P9 on their run into turn 1. We already know we just kind of got to hang on here for these last couple of laps and get to that green-white checkered and then kick off that 3rd and final stage of racing. Now, Priest just behind. Into turn 3 we go now for approaching this final lap, and Ryan Blaney's got Briscoe, Hamlin, Elliott all lined up behind, but I don't think anybody's got anything for that number 12 of Ryan Blaney here this afternoon as we exit turn 2. Gibbs to the inside of Byron, I'm to the inside of Logano, can't quite make it stick now, and into 3 and 4. Larson looks to the inside of the 24. I don't think he's going to have enough. Blaney wins stage 2. It's going to be close between the 24 and the 5, but Byron hangs on and Logano hangs on against me. He'll end up 9th, or I'll end up 9th. He'll end up 8th. Byron gets P6 over Larson in P7. However, Larson had a few cars in between him and Byron in stage 1, so Larson still has definitely scored at least 1 or 2 more points so far in this race than the 24.
You ready now?
So let's kick it off. The 3rd and final stage of racing from the Xfinity 500. Down into turn 1, we are only basically halfway through this race. We've still got a lot of racing to go, but if this stage ends up going green for a while, I mean, it'll definitely fly by pretty fast as we're to the inside again of the 60. Again, we're still on pretty fresh tires. I mean, only 3-lap old tires, so it's going to take him still a little bit before I feel like our advantage kind of kicks in with this number 15 Boost Chevrolet now, as Blaney's already out in front, taking off from the rest of the pack now, looking absolutely fantastic out front there. Chase Elliott as well to the inside. Chase Elliott just picked up his first win on the season last episode. Your defending champion won at Las Vegas, and of course last season he went winless all the way to the championship 4 where he made it, and then he finally won at Phoenix, which also won him the championship. But here's something interesting throughout the course of this run. William Byron fading as Larson is moving forward. Of course, Larson needs to try and find a way to get to victory lane here today because he needs that additional 15 points to close in on that 24. It's going to be very, very difficult for Larson to have a chance at a championship now as we are still fighting with Joey Logano, who would eventually get clear. I mean, at this point, I'm like, all right, brother, like, we got to go. I mean, you are holding me up. So if we get an opportunity, if we need to, it's time to lay the bumper to the 22, but now coming to lap 79, after Byron and Briscoe had kind of pulled away, they've actually come back towards us here come lap 80 now. And Byron's just running for whatever reason, kind of doing what we saw Larson do in stage 2. He's just kind of running the outside line and costing himself some time, and that's helping the number 5 for every car that gets passed by him. And the 19, for whatever reason, we're kind of going back and forth. So after Byron would get passed by the 19 would then jump up to the top, and then Byron would pass him, then Byron would jump to the top, and then the 19 would pass him as I overshot the corner. I was actually aiming for the bumper of the 22, but we clear Logano nonetheless, and finally take P8 from the 3-time NASCAR Cup Series champion now, and we set our sights on this 19 and the 24. And I'm not going to race William Byron any differently than anybody else. I don't care if you're leading the championship. You have a lot more to lose than I do. So if you're going to hold me up, I'm still going to lay the bumper even to that Exalta Chevrolet, even if, of course, Junior Motorsports has a significant alliance with Hendrick. We're still going to lay that bumper to the 24 if he's going to hold me up here now. As sure enough, we are right to the back bumper and now to the inside of Byron, who continues to fade as these laps go on. Blaney continues to lead. We might clear this 24 as we head down into turn 3. Another thing that's developing here as these laps continue on, we're realizing that green flag pit stops are not far away, and we very well could see that here in the coming laps now as we clear the 24 of William Byron into P7, and then quickly running down the number 19 of Briscoe and into the pits there on the inside, Chase Elliott. Chase Elliott is into the pits. And that is going to open the floodgates because here comes Larson, Blaney in my mirror, here comes Byron. So we're going to stretch this out a little bit longer, get some fresh tires, and see if we can use literally just a few lap fresher tires to our advantage. Now in comes Briscoe. Hamlin's still on the racetrack. He would then come into the pits, and finally I would get the call from my crew chief to come in here at the conclusion of lap 94. Smoke in front. Not going to be a yellow. Looks like that was just contact. For a second I thought we had hit a gold mine. So we'll come in and now we'll get 4 tires. And waiting to see where we're going to cycle out. I already see Larson and Elliott, and oh boy, there goes Byron, Logano. Oh my God, we're going to be a ways behind. There goes Hamlin. So we're going to have some work to do. I would not be against like a caution coming out, honestly. Oh my God, there it is. The 19's around. Caution is out, and fortunately, I was surprised. I was pleasantly surprised to find out that we are still on the lead lap. So we are going to be P11. And I'm not sure where Larson or Byron are stacking up. There it is. Larson's 3rd on the bottom. Byron got up to 4th on the outside, but most importantly, Larson has the inside line. Byron has the outside line. And for us, I mean, it's just really about trying to put these tires to work. I feel like we're going to be able to pick off a couple of these guys over the next 25 laps. Hard to believe we still got, 26 laps to go when we get back to the line up in front. Chase Elliott's been taken 3 wide by the 24. Byron trying to shoot the middle. Does not work out very well for him. I clear the 60, so I'm immediately like, yep, get me to the inside line. Thank you very much. Into turn 1 we go alongside the number 19. And now Kyle Larson is up to P2 behind the 12 of Ryan Blaney. Problem is, I don't think Larson's got the speed to beat him, and Byron's gotten down to the inside behind the 22, at least briefly. And, well, as the laps go on, though, now Bowman has gotten to the inside of the 24 as I clear the 54 of Ty Gibbs, and we're definitely kind of able to utilize these tires a little bit now, and Byron's now getting passed by multiple cars, the 48, the 23. There you go. Now he's dropping a few spots, but Kyle Larson, in reality, is only in line to gain a handful of points here today, which I just don't think is going to be enough. But for us, with the tires, continuing to go forward now, coming to 15 laps to go. We're up to P7 behind Chase Elliott into turn number 3, right on the back of him. Willing to move him if I need to, because I'm trying to come through now. And on lap 113, Elliott moves up just a tad bit, and I give him just the lightest little tap to the left rear, and we get to the inside now into turn 1, and as well you see Byron has gotten back in front of the 48, so he's still up there in 4th. Larson's literally only going to gain a couple of points now as we're immediately to the back bumper and moving the Ally Financial 48 out of the way as well. I'm bringing Christopher Bell with me down the back straightaway, 10 laps to go, and we still continue to run down these guys in front of us, including that 24 of William Byron. Now with less than 10 to go, lap 119, we have now gotten to within a few car lengths of this 24 as we roll through one and out of turn two down this back stretch. And I said earlier, I'm not going to race them any different. So with 5 to go, we are here working our way through traffic. Blaney leads over Larson. Now I have decided on one thing. I'm going to wait until 2 to go to make a move on this 24, because if a caution comes out right now, we'll be P5 in the preferred lane on the inside. So I don't want to make a move and then be on the outside for a restart. So with 2 to go is when we're going to make our move, because I'll be confident at that point we're not going to get a caution. And we have now reached out of turn 4. 2 laps to go. It's game on. I am not waiting around. I played nice with the 24. We move him up out of the groove. He tries to block now. Major contact. We nearly spin the championship leader out of turn 2. And we get to the inside. Now as he clears us, we're going to lay the bumper one more time. And we get side by side on the exit of turn 4. Beating and banging, leaning on each other, exiting the corner now. He's got a lot more to lose than me, like I said earlier. And we clear the 24 on the final lap and bring Christopher Bell with me as well. And it's going to be Ryan Blaney leading through turns 3 and 4 for the final time. He's going to go to victory lane for the 7th time this season, as Kyle Larson will come home in P2. Runner-up finish for him. What could have been for Larson, and we end up 4th over Christopher Bell. And as well, congratulations to an F7 Mac and Cheese Boy and CJ as well on all getting wins right there. What a race that was. And Larson ends up 2nd. Byron drops to 6th right at the end, as you see the rest of your finishing order. Briscoe ended up down in 15th. But of course, the big question is, what did that finish mean for the championship situation going into the season finale? And it takes an unexpected twist, because Ryan Blaney, who I had completely written off, he was 70 points out after Talladega. Well, after dominating maximum points, was winning every stage, winning the race, he scores 75 points. He just gained 35 points on William Byron. He cut the gap in half and jumps to 2nd, 35 points back. He just gained 35. If he could do the same thing next episode in Phoenix, he would be able to tie William Byron for the championship, and both drivers currently have 7 wins. Kyle Larson is 5 points back from Blaney at 40 out, so now we still have a story. Ryan Blaney, who's been dominant at Phoenix, dominated it earlier in the season, has an opportunity to steal the championship in the finale at Phoenix in the next episode. I'll see you guys then. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.